Ready?
Yep.
Okay, welcome. I'd like to call this May 9th, 2016 council meeting to order. If you would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will clerk please call the roll?
Hilberg,
Here.
Colasar,
Here.
Lamb,
Here.
Rose,
Here.
Shields,
Here.
Simpson,
Here.
Coin.
Here. Reading of the minutes,
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
I move that the minutes of the regular council meeting of April 25th, 2016, as prepared and submitted by the clerk, be approved.
Second.
Discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on approval of the minutes?
Colasar,
Yes.
Lamb,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Shields,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Coin,
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Reports of standing committees. The Finance Committee met prior to council and will meet again in 2 weeks. Health, Safety, and Sanitation Committee, Mr. Colzar.
Thank you, Mr. President. We do not have any meetings scheduled at this point and nothing further to report.
Thank you. Public Properties Committee, Mr. Shields.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled and no report this evening.
Special Legislation Committee, Mr. Lamb.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled and nothing to report.
Streets and Sidewalks Committee, Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled, nothing to report.
Water and Utilities Committee, Mr. Hilberg.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled, nothing to report.
Emerging Technologies Committee, Mr. Rose.
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing to report, and I'm still working on getting a meeting scheduled. Thank you.
Thank you. Requests for council action. We have several for the finance. We have 1674, request to award bid, court scanning project. 1675, expenditure for home agreement 427 Prospect. 1676, SPCA annual donation request. 1677, fiscal year 16 CDBG application. 1678, OPWC resolution of intent, Ryan Road reconstruction. 1679, OPWC resolution of intent, Rogers Road waterline phase 1. 1680, expenditure over 15,000, increased PO for Osborne Medina. 1681, fair housing agreement, fiscal year 15 for CDBG. 1682, revised civil service rules. 1683, expenditure over 15,000 to the Ohio Association of Chiefs of Police. 1684, ODOT salt purchasing program, and 1685, proposed new classification of water technician. Reports of municipal officers. Mayor Hamwell.
Thank you, Mr. President. There's a group called Working America that's going to be canvassing the city. They have been since earlier in the year and will continue until November throughout the election cycle. Their hours to canvass the city are 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday and 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekends. These activities are constitutionally protected under the First Amendment, do not require them to register with the city for a solicitor's permit or follow our solicitor regulations as they're not selling anything. Working America is a not-for-profit 501c5 labor organization affiliated by the AFL-CIO. This past Thursday, May 5th, we had the National Day of Prayer events in the community, and all 3 events were well attended. I'd like to thank the council members that attended as well as the administration. This past Saturday, May 7th, we had the Love Medina program where local churches go out and provide service, community service to senior citizens and those handicapped individuals that can't do some of the tasks for themselves. And from what I've heard, the program went very well. There was a crowd of probably 20 to 30 at the city garage when we kicked it off Saturday morning. This coming weekend on Friday, May 13th, these are Sea of Blue events. On Friday, May 13th, there's a candlelight vigil at the Common Pleas front steps for officers across the country who've given the ultimate sacrifice. Then on Saturday, May 14th at 10 a.m., there's a unity walk of police officers and youth from Medina High School parking lot to the square. And then at 11 a.m., there's a Sea of Youth police rally at the Common Pleas Courthouse steps. And then just kind of a future notice, the Memorial Day Parade will be Monday, May 30th. At 10 a.m., there's a brief ceremony at the monument in front of the Common Pleas Courthouse. The parade steps off shortly thereafter, about 10:10. At 11 a.m., there's a ceremony at Spring Grove Cemetery. The rain location is the Medina High School Performing Arts Center. After the ceremony at the cemetery, the VFW will host veterans and their families for food and beverages. And then at 1:15 in the afternoon, the Vietnam Veterans of America will have a ceremony at the Medina County Vietnam Veterans Memorial at 210 Northland Drive. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Durham, Finance Director?
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a reminder, our next budget hearing is a week from tomorrow.
Yeah, and that's the Medina Community Recreation Center budget, so I hope everybody can attend that one. Mr. Huber, Law Director?
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Ms. Marshall, Economic Development Director?
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple items to note. The City of Medina, in conjunction with Main Street and the Chamber, will be hosting a ribbon cutting for a new business, European Design Imports, also known as Polish Pottery, located at 100 Public Square. That will be held at 1 o'clock. And then following that one at 2 o'clock, we are having a little celebration for PJ Marley's on the expansion of their outdoor dining patio. So that's at 119 Public Square, and that's my report.
Thank you. Mr. Mendel, Planning and Community Development Director?
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report this evening.
Thank you. Chief Painter, Fire Chief?
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you. Mr. Wright, Recreation Center Director?
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple updates. Our new spring summer brochure is now available online and at the Rec Center. The Rec's 3-month summer memberships are 25% off this season. Started May 1st for 3 consecutive months of your choice up to the start date of July 1st. A reminder to the community that the Rec Discover Camp starts May 31st and runs through August 12th. There are a lot of scheduled trips this year, including Kalahari, Sky Zone, Dave & Buster's, and the Nautica Queen, just to name a few. You can schedule 1 week or the entire summer. For more information, you can go online at www.medinarec.org or contact Maureen Dahl at 330-721-6935. The next Rec Advisory Committee meeting is Thursday, May 19th at 7:30 at the Rec Center. And then lastly, our shutdown week will be the same week as the Medina County Fair this year. We will be closed for 5 days, August 1st through August 5th for maintenance and repairs. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Worley, Parks and Recreation Director?
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you. Mr. Gladys, Building Official?
Thank you, Mr. President. I am proud to say that the Building Department has taken another step to help simplify the building permit application process. We have changed the permit applications that were available on the city's website to a new fill-in-the-blank type PDF application. The new application can be easily completed, printed, and/or emailed to our office. The new applications include building, heating, air conditioning, electric, plumbing, and contractor registration. The new applications will save time for the applicants and will also increase the efficiency of the building department. The goal of the building department is to make the permit application a simple, easy, friendly, and efficient process for both the residents and the business community. This ends my report.
Thank you. Mr. Patton, City Engineer?
Thank you. Our Ryan Road project, we have finished the stabilizing portion of that project. The pavement is scheduled to be placed next week. Our North Huntington Street project, pavement is actually scheduled to start tomorrow, May 10th. That is weather dependent, so that might get pushed back depending if we get some rain as expected. And and today our Foundry Street project kicked off. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Procoli, Service Director?
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report this evening.
Thank you. Notices, communication, and petitions. We have one, a liquor permit, not to object to the issuance of a new D2 and D3 permit to Medina Oriole Steakhouse, Inc., doing business as Medina Steakhouse and Saloon and Porch and Patio, 538 West Liberty Street, Medina.
Move not to object.
Second.
Discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll not to object?
Lamb,
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg. Colasar.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Unfinished business, we have none. Introduction of visitors. Members of the public will be permitted the opportunity to speak on any issue or concern which pertains to the city during the portion of the council agenda devoted to introduction of visitors. All comments shall be directed to the chair, and a reasonable time limit of approximately 5 minutes will be imposed. If there is a group, please appoint a spokesperson. Speakers should approach the front right microphone and state their name and address so it can be entered in the minutes. Members of the public will be afforded the opportunity to comment on other portions of the meeting as determined by the chair or by a vote of the council members present. Is there anybody that wishes to address council at this time?
Keith Trojak, Guilford Boulevard here in Medina. I noticed that our police chief is missing this evening, and it was really just too bad. I hope he's feeling well. On the 23rd of March, I had the misfortune of going into full cardiac arrest. Several times, my heart needed to be restarted. CPR was administered. No small task even for our LST teams. I'm standing here before you while some medical professionals are saying I shouldn't even be talking. But that's not the true reason why I'm here. The true reason is why I'm here is that our police chief has really gotten some bad deals from me in the past. We don't always see eye to eye. But considering I have very little knowledge and memory of exactly what happened that morning, I do know this, that our police chief stopped at my house on his way in, performed CPR until the teams got there, and I'm told by several medical professionals he saved my life. In our little community that is growing, in our community that is growing, it's nice to see that those in power can still stop and do their what is otherwise considered to be the job of the other officers and LST people. For that, I am indebted to that gentleman. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that wishes to address council at this time? Introduction and consideration of ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance 60-16, ordinance amending ordinance number 2316 passed February 8, 2016, authorizing the payment of $26,175 to GenMet Construction LLC for the private home rehabilitation at 3556 Gerald Boulevard, Brunswick, as part of the fiscal year 2014 CHIP program.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
the emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Discussion on the emergency clause and the ordinance. Mr. Mendel.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. This is a simple change order to add $770 to the previous $26,000 approximately to get this project going and to clear up some items that still needed to be taken care of for this project. This is runs through the city council, although this property is in Brunswick as part of the partnership agreement with the current CHIP program. The city of Medina is the fiscal officer within the grant, so it has to be processed for payment through the city of Medina. And the emergency clauses is requested because the project is complete and this the contractor needs to be paid. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the emergency clause and or the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the emergency clause?
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg. Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance?
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Ordinance 60-16 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 6116, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to advertise for competitive bids and award the contract to the successful bidder for the 2016 concrete street repair program.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Patton.
Thank you. This is our annual project where we repair individual slabs of the concrete pavement throughout the city. This year we're asking for $325,000 to complete the project. This will be done this summer. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll on the ordinance.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Ordinance 61-16 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 62-16, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to advertise for competitive bids and to award a contract to the successful bidder for the West Smith Road reconstruction project.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Mr. Patton?
Thank you. This is actually phase 1 of the West Smith project. We completed phase 2 2 years ago ahead of phase 1. This phase 1 project will stretch from the railroad crossing where we ended the last project near Medina Supply, the County Engineering Center, head east to State Road, goes a couple hundred feet past State Road, and then it also includes State Road from Smith Road north to the railroad crossing there by AI Route. Project's been many years in the making. It is estimated at $3.6 million, a little over that. We do have 2 grants that will help defer some of those costs. One, a federal grant, the amount of $742,500, and the other, a state issue 1 grant for $406,000.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance?
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Ordinance 62-16 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 6316, an ordinance to clarify and unify the codified ordinances of the City of Medina, Ohio by amending the following sections of Part 11, the Planning and Zoning Code, Sections 112104, 112304, 112504, 112704, 113304, 113504, 113704, 114714C, 114714F, 111305M, and finally 115304A.
Well done, Mr. Coyne. Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes,
Mr.
thank you,
Mendel?
Mr. President. Hey, appreciate you reading each of those for us. This is related to Planning Commission recommendation from their January 14th, 2016 meeting, recommending some amendments to the Planning and Zoning Code. This group of amendments is really just a housekeeping effort to amend sections that were overlooked or incorrect terminology or leftover pieces from when we implemented the sizable zoning code changes in July of 2014. Sometimes when you do large projects like that, stuff gets missed. You need to clean it up over a period of time after as you start using the new code and finding these items that were incorrect or are extraneous. So this is basically housekeeping to clean up some unnecessary language in the code. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion or comment? Will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance?
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Ordinance 63-16 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 6416, an ordinance amending ordinance number 1215 passed January 26, 2015, relative to the lease agreement with the Friends of the Cemetery for use of the Amos Mears Memorial Building at Spring Grove Cemetery.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
the emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Discussion on the emergency clause and/or the ordinance. Mr. Huber.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have a lease with the Friends of the Cemetery as they use space and lease space in the Amos Mears building. There's a clause in the original lease agreement that requires them to indemnify us for the negligence of our own employees. There is no good reason to have that clause in the original lease agreement. It caused a problem for Friends of the Cemetery with respect to securing their own liability insurance coverage. And as a consequence, and as a result of discussions with attorney Ian Haberman, who represents Friends of the Cemetery, I'm recommending that we take that clause out of the lease agreement. That would afford us the ability to amend the lease agreement and go forward with everything else remaining the same. So I would recommend we do that.
Thank you. Any further discussion? An emergency clause is because the lease is already in place and they're in there, and we just need to amend this one provision. Any discussion on the emergency clause and/or the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the emergency clause?
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance?
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Ordinance 64-16 passes 7-0.
Resolution 6516, a resolution accepting a donation of proceeds raised by the sale of pavers at the Bicentennial Commons and to credit the funds to go towards the 2018 Bicentennial celebration.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Mr. Worley?
Thank you, Mr. President. Since the installation of the engraved bricks at the Bicentennial Commons, the Parks Department has received a number of inquiries regarding purchasing additional bricks. This resolution will authorize a third round of sales with all the proceeds going to the Bicentennial Committee to help fund events for the 2018 Bicentennial, with the installation of the third round being prior to 2018. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion or comment? Will the clerk please call the roll on the resolution?
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Resolution 65-16 passes 7-0.
Resolution 6616, a resolution supporting the application by the Ohio Department of Transportation, ODOT, District 3, to the Ohio Transportation Review Advisory Council, TRAC, for funding of the reconstruction and widening of State Route 18 from Albert Drive in Medina City to Nettleton Road in Medina and Montville Townships.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
the emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it at this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Discussion on the emergency clause and the resolution. Mr. Patton.
Thank you. ODOT is currently developing this project. They have secured funds for the engineering, and the engineering is well underway. Project does start in the city of Medina. About, I think, 4/10 of a mile of it is in the city. The balance of it is outside the city. TRAC is a statewide organization that funds these large projects. ODOT has applied to them, I think, twice in the past and been unsuccessful in terms of acquiring monies for right-of-way acquisition and construction. One of the things they've asked not only the city of Medina, but Medina County and the two townships is to pass a resolution of support along with whatever financial contribution they wanted to make towards the project. We discussed this in committee and recommending a commitment of $250,000 from the city for this project that will be included on the application. This money is not going to be due until the project is ready to be constructed, which probably is going to be about 4 years away if we are successful in getting this funding. The emergency clause is requested because this next application is due at the end of this month.
Thank you. Any further discussion or comment? Will the clerk please call the roll on the emergency clause?
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the resolution?
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Resolution 66-16 passes 7-0.
Council comments.
Mr. President?
Mr. Colzar?
I just have one brief comment, and this goes out to the residents of the entire city. I know the grass is growing pretty strong right now, but I just urge residents go out there and take the time to mow your grass to a decent level that not only keeps the neighborhood somewhat beautiful, but also keeps the service department dealing with bigger and better things and trying to keep up on property maintenance. And when you do cut that grass, try to keep it off the road, because actually you're not supposed to leave the remnants of the grass in the road, because that gets into our catch basins that eventually clogs up our stormwater system and it depletes the water quality in our creeks and rivers. So just want to reach out to everybody to try to do their part and keep this community clean. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional council comments?
I have one, Mr.
Mr.
President. Last week late last week in a pouring rain, a downpour, as part of the Rocky River Watershed program, the Community Development Director Jonathan Mandel gave an extremely interesting and informative talk, holding an umbrella, standing on a rock in Champion Creek, and the talk was about the beautiful restoration that was completed in Champion Creek in the section of town through where the trail is at trailhead at Broadway. It was a lot of fun to watch, and it was really interesting. And for anybody that didn't get to hear it, at some point maybe we'll do that again. But there was a nice kind of group of people there. Councilman Colasar was there, and Councilman Simpson. And Councilman Colasar, of course, is as always deserves a lot of credit for his continual push, I think, to get that park developed and to be what it was. But I want to thank our Jonathan Mandela for a great job that he did in that talk. And afterward, there was food at the library. Everybody didn't show up for that, but I did. And you received a lot of compliments at that from folks that were there that really appreciated the talk that you gave. Champion Creek is a great asset to the community, and what's been done, the restoration that's been done to the creek so far has just made it even more of an asset than it was prior to. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Any additional council comments?
Mr. President.
Mr. Simpson?
Sir, I didn't catch your last name. Sir, I'm just so happy that the outcome of your incident was so positive, and you look like you're feeling great now. I just wanted to reiterate what we've always said in our community, that we all as citizens are lucky, because not only the police chief in this incident, but our police department, our fire department, and LST. If you call 911 or your spouse calls 911, you're going to have somebody there within minutes. That's not that's not common around the country. Those response times are greatly exaggerated, and all three entities are trained, basically the same. So you're right. The quick response was probably very beneficial to your outcome, and congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other additional council comments? Hearing none, the meeting's adjourned.